Okay, so if you have problems to join the online class on next week Wednesday, okay, I will do recording. Okay, I will do recording. But you have to watch the recorded class, the recorded lab, and please update to me that you have watched the class, you have watched the lab, so that I can update the attendance. Alright. Okay, please inform me and update. Inform me that you have watched the recorded lab, so that I can update your attendance. Okay. Alright, so for the group assignment, for your group, it will be conducted in week 13 and 14. I'll release the group assignment questions for you to answer during lab class. Okay, so during lab class, you have to answer the questions. Okay, so the first phase, the first part, I will release few questions lah on the in week 13, and another different questions on week 14. So you have to answer that questions during lab class. Submit the solution during lab class through VLE. Okay. Okay, so I'll give you the case study. So you have to understand the problem and explain, okay, the problem in details in terms of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and so on. Alright. So during lab, you need to prepare the pseudocode, okay, for that for the given questions. I'll give you several questions, but you need to answer only one of the questions. Okay, choose one case study, for example. So then, um, provide the coding, okay, the Java coding, which is phase 3, and then do other proper phase, maybe do desk check and so on. Alright. So the case study might be consist of several uh, topics that you have learned. Okay, maybe the sequential structure, repetition structure such as the loop. Maybe there's a decision structure with or without arrays, right? Then you need to design with Java methods. Okay, design with Java methods. Alright. Okay, next one is you need to provide. If let's say if it's, you provide the coding, so do the remark or or comments. Okay, put comments uh, in your coding lines to explain that lines is for what. Alright. Okay, except this one lah, I haven't explained. This will be this week lectures, right? This topic is under this week lecture. Okay, so whatever you answer during the lab class, okay, week 13 and 14, then you have to compile that, submit in a report. So the report, there's a format, okay, that you have to follow, and provide the cover page, okay, of the group assignment. I will upload the cover page of the group assignment in VLE. Okay, then the group leader need to submit the compilations of the uh, solutions or everything that you explain in order to answer the case study into a PDF format. Okay, so the submission will be through the leader name. So the file that you are supposed to create will be in this formats lah. This is the group leader's ID. Alright, submit in PDF format only, not in Word and all other formats. Okay. Okay, then after you submit, so then you need to prepare the presentation. Okay, to explain about your solutions. Okay, the case study that you have choose to answer. Alright. Okay. The presentations is the recorded one, which you have to submit in as YouTube link. Alright, and each group need to evaluate others group presentation. Okay, this is under item number 7 to complete the peer evaluation. So to evaluate other group presentation, I'll give you the detail for you to fill in. Alright, so the rubric for the group assignment also will be uploaded also in the VLE. Alright. Okay, any questions that you want to ask about this group assignment? Any question? Any question?
No, madam.
Okay, so during the group assignment, which is in week 13 and 14, you are allowed to bring the soft copy or hard copy of the notes or maybe the lab one. Okay, lab work that you have done. Except that during the assignments, you are not allowed to open any browser. Okay, just submit one report. Okay, the report consists of what you have answered in week 13 and 14. Yes, quasi is different questions. Okay, maybe group 40's questions involve GUI. Okay. Okay, week 13 questions would be around what you have done from lab 1 until lab 6. Okay, with Java methods, the structure. Okay, let's say you are given maybe 7 questions or 5 questions, so choose one of the question, then you need to design the solutions in containing the phases. Okay, so what kinds of structure will be based on the problem that you have choose to answer. Alright, so at the end only submit one report. One group only to submit one report and one recorded presentation. Alright, okay, so you guys clear? Any other question? Other students? No more questions? Okay, so take notes. So make sure that all of your members attend during week 13 and 14. Right? There's a marks for teamwork and so on. Okay, so no more questions? No more questions? By the way, is my sounds, my voice is it very clear or not?
Clear, clear.
Clear, all right. Okay, so please open your lab 6. Okay, the briefing file I will not upload lah. All right, I will not upload in the VLE. Okay, so okay, have you download lab 6? Okay, for your information, this lab 6 you only need to do phase 3 and phase 4. Phase 3 is the Java coding and phase 4 is desktop. Alright. Okay, so for question this the one in this lab number 6, I will choose question number 2 and 4. Okay, for me to explain. Okay, question number 2 is a complete one. Question number 4, you have to complete the parts. Okay, I will do explanations only. But for question number 4, the coding that you have actually is not a complete one. Right. Okay, you can read the question first. Okay, question number 2 is candy bars problem. Okay, question number 2 is about candy bars. So the situation is quite close with your uh, lab number 4, the one with the repetition structure. Okay. Okay, so the candy bars is actually this problem um, require user to provide the number of candy bar source. So what is the difference in this lab number 6 is the program will ask first the club name. Okay, what is the club name, and then the program will ask the number of candy bars sold for that club. All right, and then the program will ask whether to proceed to the next club or not. So there's some response that the program need to say, right? Okay, so next one is in this one the program need to use array. Sorry kejap. Sekejap kejap. Okay, so the program, I will repeat again. So this program will ask response from the user. First one is containing the club name and the number of candy bar sold. Okay. Okay, so for this number of candy bar sold, the program will do calculations in terms of the gross sales, SDA contribution, tax amounts, and the net profit. Okay. The program also will ask the user whether to proceed to the next club or not. Okay, so there is a response from the user, either yes or no. The program will read that response. Okay, so the process actually will be repeated as long as the user respond yes. Okay, so when the user respond no, so the process will be stopped. Okay. Okay, so that is the item that you need to understand. So we have to design the program using arrays concept. Okay, arrays concept. So what you have learned in arrays concept? How do we know that the program is with array or without arrays? How do we know? How we know there is a program with array? Anyone? Did you hear my questions? Did you hear my question?
Yes, madam.
Okay, so how do we know it's a program? Maybe the codings is with array using what?
Square bracket.
Square brackets. Okay, so like this one okay, square bracket. Okay, so if you see this one set of square bracket, this is one dimensional array. Okay, then if you see like this one, two set, this is two dimensional array. Okay, so this is simple one where you can practice and identify that. All right. Okay, so in order to define or declare, okay, so let's say you have array. So this kinds of array, okay, um, on the left side, okay, usually we combine together with the data type, maybe integer. Okay, x is your array name, okay, on the left. So on the left side is just put x and then this square brackets empty, and we have x with the size, something like this. Right. On the right is your array name. This 5 means the size. What is the meaning of size? What is the meaning of size? What is the meaning in the current uh this item shows currently? What is the meaning of 5 here?
The
5 is
number
size.
of elements.
Number of element. Okay, size is number of
element.
size is number of elements in that array. Alright, okay. So on the left side, so we just list the array name and empty square brackets, followed by equal new and the array name with the size. Okay, size means that you can have one element, you can have two elements, but this 5 is the maximum number of elements. Alright, okay. So you can have same thing if it's for two-dimensional array. So maybe you have something like double, then maybe you have matrix. Okay, the array name is matrix, matrix A, for example, right? So let's say the matrix A has two rows. So put here on the left is empty. Sorry, on my okay, then the right hand side is your new matrix A. Then the first square bracket represent the number of rows. Okay, let's say the matrix has two rows. Okay, so just put two rows, just number 2, and it contains maybe 3 columns. So put here. Okay, so let's say your matrix, the element inside that will be double. Okay, the elements in that 2 by 3 matrix, so it the data types will be double. It can be maybe the elements such as 2.5, 3.2, and so on. Okay, right. This is the things that the basic that you need to know in terms of defining the array in different dimensions, 1 dimension, 2 dimensions. All right. Okay, so so in this case, let's see, we go back to this item. Okay, so we can see that this problem cannot be solved or apply for loop, right? Because the number of repetitions is unknown in this case. Okay, you cannot use for loop because the number of repetitions is depends on the response from the user. Okay, so the number of repetition is unknown. We cannot use for loop, right? So you can decide either while loop or do while loop. Okay, so between while loop and do while loop, which loop is suitable in this case, in this question number 2? Okay, between while and do while loop, which one is suitable for this case?
Well,
Why while loop?
sebab dia tak mention program ni kena run sekali. Macam
Alright, okay, correct. Okay, so we couldn't found that this program has at least one time, okay, repetition. So in this case, we'll be using while loop. Clear? Okay, so this one, while loop. Okay, so the while loop will be based on the condition as long as the user respond yes. Okay. So the repeated task will be in your while loop. Okay, something like your instruction ask the user to enter the club name, and then ask the user to enter the number of candy bar sold, and the program to compute the gross sales, SDA contributions, the amount of tax, net profit. This item will be in your loop because this is the repeated task that the program need to do. right? So in the program, all important informations and the condition that need to be checked are stated here. Okay, this is something that the program need to find out. This is computation, and there's a condition to check about the net profit. Okay, all right. Okay, next, the item that the program need to display. So will be the club name, gross sales, SDA contribution, tax, and the final net profit. So final net profit refer to the uh, situation after the tax has been checked. Okay, the value of tax has been checked based on the condition of the net profit. Right. So in order to display the following items, right, you have to check and I find out which variables that need to be performed in the loop, which one is not. Okay. So basically here, after the program compute all the important informations, okay, the program will display back uh, each of the club name with the computations item, all the variables that has been computed for that club, right? So this is the item after the variable have been computed, and also when the conditions of the net profit has been checked. All right. Okay, so this one, right, this is including club name. So means that, let's say this is your first club. So the program need to display gross sales as your contributions, and if the club has tax, or maybe the club has no tax value, the program also need to display that, and the net profit, final net profit after checking the conditions. Right. So this one is actually under the loop, right? Because you have to display back all the one that has been readed, and also the one that has been computed previously. Readed means in terms of the club name. This one is the readed one. Okay, gross sales, SGA contributions, tax, and the final net profit is the one that have been computed before this. Okay. Okay, so the one that is not under the loop will be this one. Total number of clubs that require to pay tax. Okay, so actually it happens at this case. Alright, this one is the conditions. Okay, so let's say in this net profit, let's say it is greater than 2,000. Okay, here. So if the net profit computed before this, the amount is greater than 2,000, so the club will be charged with 2%, okay, out of the net profit. Okay, otherwise the tax value is 0. Okay, so the tax value is 0 will be in these conditions, right? Okay, so for this, each of these condition, right? So if the club has net profit that is greater than 2,000, so the club will has tax as 2% from the net profit. So the program need to count. Okay, so let's say this is the club counts. Okay, club count tax. Maybe club 1 for first club. So then we count. This is, let's say, club 1, club 2, and so on. If that club has been charged with tax. Alright. Okay, so in order to count this, you need to create formula, right? So formulation will be something that relate to counting numbers increased by 1. Okay. Alright. Okay. Any questions so far? Any question? Any question before I proceed? Yeah, meeting is recorded. Yeah. Okay, the meeting is recorded. Any question, guys? Okay, so now we go to phase 3, because this lab 6, just we just want to do phase 3 and phase 4. All right. Okay, so from the program, okay, this is the item that you need to apply the concept of array. Okay, concept of array. So we do apply one-dimensional array. Okay. Okay, so my focus will be on the loop structure. Okay, so in this program, okay, so we have this scanner input because your program need to read the input. So this scanner input need to activate before you use that input functions. All right. Okay, so the other items, this is actually your constant. Okay, this is constant. How do we know it's a constant? Using keyword of final. Okay, keyword of final. Okay, so why we use constant? This constant is actually optional. You can state directly without using constant, like this one. Final int max, final double price per bar. You can set directly in the formula that it is times with this number 50 or maybe times with the 75 cent. Okay, so alternative way is you can use this constant method. So to do that, you have to use keywords of final in front. Okay, so this is the way if you want to use constant, right? Because in the program does not mentions, okay, basically in the program that you must use constant or not. Okay, so generally you can use any method that is suitable, right? Okay, then since that we have all the important items such as the club name, the number of candy bar sold, and so on, gross sales, SDA, tax, net profit, will be using in the program. So we have to declare the data type. Okay, club name means that it can be consist of um, alphabets or numbers. Alright, so we define as string. Okay, so club name as string. So we do like this one. Okay, so then we have equal to new string. Okay, so since max is defined as constant, so you can just put here generally. Alright, generally. Alright, okay. uh you can set 50, something like this. You can set 50, right? You can set 50. This is the maximum. You can change this 50 maybe to other values. Alright, maybe 100 and so on. Okay, this is just for sample so that we set the limits. Alright, okay, you can set directly or can use the general symbol for this using constant. Alright, next one. Club name, Baso, gross sales, SDA contribution, tax, net profit. Okay, then you have the following items. Okay, next is your loop. Okay, this one is just a declarations for the variable. Right? Okay, now my concern is about your loop. Since we have identified this is the while loop that will be used in the program. Okay, so your while loop will do the repeated task, something like instruction, read the inputs, and so on, do the calculations. So everything will be in this while loop, right? Okay, so since that your while loop depends on the response from the user, when the user respond yes, okay, for each club, okay, for each club, so then the loop will be executed. All right, so the response from the user will be yes. Okay, if it's no, so then the loop will not be executed. Okay, so this respond yes, this one, the program create that the response as the name choice. Okay, as the name choice. Okay, as the name choice, and yes is the string type. So we define the data type as the string. Alright. So the loop will be depends on the response yes, okay, for certain number of condition. So your condition will be based on the count. Count means that your number of club. Okay, so we create the let's say first club. So your count is 0. Count is 1. Next club will be increased, right? So we set the limit just now 50. Means that the loop is will be executed maximum until for 50 times. For example, if this loop, let's say the response from the user, let's say 10. Okay, so the loop will be repeated until 10 times for that 10 clubs. Okay, so remember max means you set the maximum number of clubs. But if the user respond for 10 clubs, so this loop will be valid for 10 times. Okay, if the user respond, let's see, 100 times, so the loop will be executed until the first, okay, the first 50 times from your count 0 until count 49. Okay, so remember we have this value less than, right? So this loop will be executed for that 50 clubs only. So the next club, let's say club number 51, so the loop will stop, will not read the next process because it's already reached the maximum number of club, right? Okay, so see, this one why it is less than. Okay, so in the loop, okay, so this loop, so remember this loop will be executed, okay, and as long as the number of club is less than 50, because the count here start from 0. First club is your count 0, second club is your count 1, and so on. Okay, so how many counts depends on the response from the user. Okay, so the loop will be repeated, okay, until the conditions is false. If it's true, so the loop will be repeated. Okay, when the condition is false, so the loop will stop, right? Okay, so next the next task is instruction for the user to enter the club name, and this is the coding to read the input, to read the club name in the string type. So remember just now we have string type. Alright, next one is the instruction for the user to enter the number of candy bar sold for that club. Okay, next we have the program need to read the input of the number of candy bar sold as integer. Alright, so this is in order. Okay, any questions so far? Everything will be in array. Can you see that this is in array? Club name counts. Okay, so it will be processed. Let's say first club, so this count will be started as 1. Second club, your count is 1. Next club will be count 3. Alright, okay, so then the bar source, this input of this bar source will be following after this club name. Alright, any questions until this part before I proceed?
No, madam.
Any question? Okay, so this is
Sure,
instruction.
no, madam.
Okay, so this one is read club name. Okay, this is instruction, and this is read number of candy bar sold for that club. Alright. Okay, next one is this is recommended, okay, to add the clear buffer, okay, because previously the program read the inputs, first one as string, then the program read the input as integer. Okay, so when you have several reading on different data types, so it is suggested to add this clear buffer, right? So the syntax will be like this one, dot next line. So input here, this is just object name. Okay, so this object name is actually tally with your this object of scanner input. Right? Okay, next one is the formulation to compute. Okay, so remember the program need to read first the inputs, the club name and the number of candy bars, so then the program can compute. Okay, because of the gross sale is depends on the number of candy bar sold. So the variable here is bar sold. Right. So bar sold just now is in array. Alright. It is in array. Okay. So count here refer to the number of clubs. Right. So the gross sales formula also in array form. And the formula also will be using array containing bar sold in array. Then times with the constant. Okay, so constants just now we define this price per bar as 75 cents. Alright. If you do not want to use, if you do not want to use this constant, you can replace this with the numbers that is 0.75. Okay, times 0.75. This is the way, the one that I highlighted here, based on constant method. Alright, okay. Next one, SDA contributions also in array. So the formula is gross sales times count in array, then times 0.1. Okay, next we have net profit value, which is gross sales minus SDA contributions. All of them are in array form. Right? Okay, any questions about this formula before I proceed? Question? Any question?
No, madam.
Checking. Okay, so after compute this one, after compute this net profit, this net profit. Okay, so we have to check what is the computed net profit value. If the value of net profit greater than 2000, then we compute tax. So tax also in array. Okay, because the tax will be depends on the net profit. So just now we have net profit in array. So the formula, the one given in the requirement just now, there's no array symbol, right? It's just a simple formula. But then when you want to do the coding, please apply the array concept. Okay, so we have tax count equal to net profit array count times 2%. So 2%, so we convert directly to a decimal number as 0.02. Alright. Okay, then we compute the new net profit as net profit previous one minus the one with tax. Alright. And then we need to compute the club for this category. Okay, because category means the first conditions lah under this net profit greater than 2000. Okay, under this condition. So if that club has to pay tax, so you need to count the number of club. Alright. Okay, for every club that has the tax charge. Right. Okay, else means that there's no tax will be charged. So we set here tax count as 0. Okay, 0 means that the club is not charged with tax. Okay, so these conditions will be inside your while loop because this is a repeated task the program need to check. Alright, then your loop need to be updated based on the increment value. So we use this count plus plus, which is also equal to count plus 1. Alright. Okay. Before this loop end, so the program need to ask to the user. Okay. For examples, do you want to enter another club? So the response is yes or no. Alright. Okay. So then the program need to read the response from the user. So we have choice equal to input dot next line. Okay. So this is to read response. The response either yes or no. Alright. Okay. So then this is your end of the loop. Okay. This is end of your while loop. Okay. So while loop will do all the repeated tasks. Okay. First one to read the inputs such as club name, number of candy bar sale, and then compute. Okay, all the important informations. Alright. Then check what is the net profit, either greater than 2,000. If yes, there is tax will be charged. If no, so the tax will be 0. Alright. And the program will ask whether to enter the information for another club. So the user need to respond yes or no. Alright. Next one. Once the repeated task is complete, so the program need to display back, right, all the important informations. Okay, so we use the for loop. Why we use for loop here? Because just now the program has read the informations and do some computations. So basically, the number of club that has been response by the user has been identified. Okay, so let's say for that program, there is a 10 club given by the students with all the important informations and the computations. So the program need to display back all the 10 clubs. So the number of clubs actually has been identified. So there is a repetition with known value, okay, not unknown. So you can use for loop in this case. So this structure is to display all the important information starting with the club name, okay, the computed gross sales, SGA contributions, tax, and the final net profit. Alright. Okay, so for gross sales, we call that as array. Right? Then SGA contribution in array also. The tax is also in array. The net profit also in array. Okay, so for your gross sales, we use %.2f. This is for format specifier because we want to display that correct to two decimal places because it is amount of money. Right? Money is in two decimal places form. Right? Same goes for SGA contribution, tax, and the final net profit. Okay? Alright. Why you have here 10%? Anyone know? 10%. What's the meaning 10%? Anyone know what's the meaning? Okay, 10% is to display the percentage symbol. Okay, this is to display percentage symbol, right? Okay, so means that let's say SGA contributions with 10%, okay, is this value. Okay, can I understand this one? 10%. Alright, okay, then after display, the last one, final net profit. Okay, next is to display the total clubs with pay tax. Okay, the number of club that is required to pay tax. Okay, so for this part, this is actually not to be displayed repeatedly. So actually this one, to display total clubs required to pay tax, is only display one time. Okay, due to that, this syntax for display the text club count is outside of the for loop. Okay, because this is the task that require only to display one final number. So the output will be just display one time. Alright. Okay. Any questions? Alright. So you have to run this code in online GDB. Run this code in online GDB. Or use your other IDE. If you use JDoodle, so use that JDoodle, right? Okay, so run the program. So I change the name. Okay, so you run the program. Okay, so screenshot of the output. So this time you need to key in the input as follow, right? Okay, so we just key in for two clubs. Okay, so first club we type alpha club with number of candy bars as 3000. Then the response to continue to the next club, you just type yes. Okay, just type yes. Right, so with these informations, so the program will compute gross sales. So this is the dash check actually, correct? So gross sale is your number of candy bars, which is 3000 times your constant 0.75. Alright, so we get this value correct to two decimal places because of in the coding we set it is amount of money, so we run off to two decimal places. Alright, so we get this one. Manual calculations will get as 2250.00. So the SCA contribution will be 10% from this gross sales, right? So we have 225 ringgit. Net before tax will be your net profit. So this one I just use short form. This is actually net profit before tax. Okay. So you have gross sales minus SGA. So we got this one. Okay. 2025 ringgit. Alright. Okay. So this value of net profit before tax will be check what is this value, compare it with 2000, which one is greater. Okay, so this net profit before tax is actually greater than 2000. Greater than 2000 based on our condition, it lies in the first conditions where it consists of tax charge, right? So we compute the tax value. Based on the formulations, it is tax of 2%, which is your 0.02 times your net profit before tax. So we have this value 40 ringgit 50 cents. So this is your tax amount. Okay, so then your latest net profit, okay, or the final net profit is the net profit before tax minus your tax. So we got here 1984.50 cents. So for this club alpha, okay, so it means that this alpha club is charged with tax. Okay, so you need to count this club, that the club that is charged with tax. So the formula will be tax club count, right? So just now we have tax club count plus plus. So tax club count just now in the program, it is initialized with 0. Okay, so for this alpha club, so we count as follow 0 plus 1. Why 0? Because the initialization is 0. Okay, so then we increase by 1. So we got 1 lah, right? Okay, so then the program will continue because for the first club, we respond yes. Okay. Yes means that it will be going to the next club. So this time for the second club, provide the input of the club name as bike club with the number of candy bar sold as 1000 and respond no. Okay. Because we want to terminate the program. Okay. Just for two clubs. Okay. So for this bike club, the program will compute similarly gross sales, SGA, the net profit before tax. Then check the condition. This one we have 675. This is not greater than 2000. So there's no tax. So here we have tax 0. So the final net profit is 675. Okay, so that means this bike club is not charged with tax. So your number of tax club count stays 1 because we didn't count for this bike club since this bike club has not charged with tax. Right? Okay. So the program will be stopped here because when the program asks for the user to continue, so the response is no. Right? Okay, so the summary of what we have here, you need to compare with the one that you provide the output screenshots. Okay, so provide here your screenshot of the output in this part. Alright, any question so far? Any question? Okay, I give you a few minutes for you to complete this phase 4. Give you a few minutes to complete this phase 4. Okay, so once you're done, we'll proceed to question 4. This question 4. Okay, have you finished? Have you finished? Please respond, please respond. Finish means that you have attached the screenshots in your template. Okay, have you finished? Attach the screenshot. Alright, finish. Shall we proceed to question number 4 now? Shall we proceed to question number 4? Okay, so you may read this question number 4. Right. Okay, so this question 4 is about computing the semester fees for 50 students, right? Okay, to calculate semester fee for 50 students. So the process to calculate semester fees required the informations from the users, such as the number of credit hours enrolled, amount spent on books, right, and a fixed attractive fee. Okay, this one is fixed, right? So you can use constants lah, this one. Alright. This is okay, so the program need to apply two-dimensional array and nested for loop. Okay, this is the requirements. This is very important. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now how to apply the two-dimensional array? Okay, let's assume this. Okay, 2D in short form, it is a table. Okay, 2D array is just a table. So you need to imagine in a table, right? So in two-dimensional array, you need to know there is a row and column, right? There is a row and column. Okay, so your row and column. Alright, okay, so based on this problem, your row is your number of students, which is 50. Okay, your row is the number of students. The column represent these items. Okay, represent this item. Alright, okay, so it is something that in this table, let's imagine first the informations. So let's say we have student 0. Okay, first students. Next we have student 1. Alright. Next is student 2. Alright. Then you have the last students. Right? So until this one. 49. This is your student number 49. Okay. Why 49? Because this 0 is your row. Okay. So this row will be represented by the index value. Alright. Okay. So in this case, your row, let's say we define as I. Your column as J. Alright. I is 50. The number of elements is 50 because we have 50 students. Okay. Your column is the item that you want to display. Right. So we find out after this. Okay. Okay. So this is your row. Can you understand why we have student 0? The 0 refer to your index element. Your index in array, it will start with 0. Okay. Why we use index 0? Because your program will retrace or retrieve that elements based on your index. So in the program, the index is start with 0. Okay. Right. Okay. So So your row just now is number of students. Your column represent your types of data. Okay, for example, column number 1. What do you want to display? Okay, column number 2 and so on. Okay, right? Any questions so far? I haven't explained yet for the column. Any questions? Any questions? Any question? Okay, so this one I move one row below because I want to label. I move here. Okay, I want to label the column letter. Right. So here will be move. Okay, so number of students, student 0 is the index for row I 0. Okay, until the maximum value for the last 50 students, so that is index 49. Okay, first student has index 0, the last student has index 49. Okay, so now is the column here, just add here. This is based on row row. This is your column. Okay, so the vertical one represent your column column 0, column 1. Column 0 is index number. We want to retrieve that. Okay, so why is column 0? Column 0 means your first column. In this is, let's say this is your table. Right? Just put here. Okay, so column 0, what is the data that you want to display? For example, read as the credit hour. Okay, so this is credit hour for first student. First student is your index student 0, first row. Right? So we have the same thing until your last students credit hour. Okay? Okay, next one is your book cost. Okay, book cost. Okay, next is column 2. Is total fees. Okay, so here we have student. Okay, we have one more lah. Okay, 59. Okay. So imagine first in the table lah. Let's say we complete the coding. Right. Okay. Column 2 is your total fees. Right. Let's say next you want to display column 3 for number of payments. Number of payments depends on the total fees. Number of payments. Okay. Can you understand this item first? Okay. So your row is in terms of the number of students. So your column is in terms of your type of data. Alright. Any question? Any questions? Any questions so far? Any question?
No, madam.
So I shall proceed. Right. Okay. Okay. So imagine first, this is the table, right? Okay. Now, okay. So let's say your information is your fees. So everything here we create the array name. Okay. This is array name. Array name with just one name lah, but array name we just standardize, but we know that if that array is in column 0 and row of student 0, okay, so you just call the index number. Alright. Okay, so basically we have, let's say we create the names. Array name. So what is the array name? What is the array name that we can create? Your fees. Okay, so what is the data type for this fees? What is the data type for this fees? Because it's a money kan. So what is the data type? It is cost consisting of the money. So what is data type? Integer, character, string, or what? Fees. Fees is dalam bentuk duit. Takkan integer. It's not integer, right? What is the data type? Fees in terms of money. So what is data type? Okay, so you can use float or double. Okay, let's say I want to use double. Okay. So we have two-dimensional array. So let's say array name is fees. Okay. So what is the size for this data type? I. What is the value? I represent your row. So what is the size? Row is your number of students. What is the size? Maximum value is 50, right? 50 represent the number of students. So this is actually row. This is column, right? Okay, so this one, where's the value? Row, column. Now, from this table, how many rows we have? Okay, from student 0 until student number 49. So basically, we have 50 rows. Okay, student 0 is for the index value, right? Okay, so this is the maximum size is 50 because we have 50 rows, right? For column, how many columns we have? Okay, this is first column, second column, third column, the fourth column. So we have 4 columns, alright? Okay, so this is 4. Alright, now this is, we define the array with the data type. Okay, now we want to see the meaning, alright? This is general, this is your general. For all items here. The one in the table, okay? The one in the table, alright? Okay, so in the array, actually, some of the variable is integer. Okay, for example, number of payments. This is integer. But since that we defined just now as double, which is in terms of decimal numbers, later on when you want to display, you can convert that double to integer. Okay, this one, alright. So the fees actually is to define this array form. Okay, to define. Okay, so all of this, this is actually array name dia adalah, this is the detail in terms of the credit hour, book cost, total fees, and number of payments. But when we call that array 2, it's actually called like this one, fees I0, right? Okay, I0, J0. Okay, so when you want to call or retrieve the elements, we will call in array. Okay, this is the detail lah. So the next one, this is actually your fees 0, 1. Okay, right? You understand about this or not? The fees is array name. Okay, so 0, 0 is the elements in this row 1, which is your I0, J0. Okay, I0, J0, it means it is in the first row, first column. Okay, why we use 0? Because remember your index start from 0. Alright, clear? Clear or not? Okay, so this is actually the array in terms of row, second row, the index is I1. Okay, this is I0, I1, I2. Okay, so this is your index. So this is I1, J0. Okay, so it is in the second row, but it is in the first column. So what is the meaning? Fees 1. It is means that second student, student 0, remember student 0, student 1 is just index value, not the same meaning like the first student, second student. Alright. Okay, so student 0 is first student. Right? First student, then second student. Okay, student 2, index 2 is third student. Right? And so on. Okay, so your last student is here. Okay, so this is last student. So the last student has I49. Okay, clear? So fees ni, kalau if you want to change to other name also can. Okay, you can change. Let's say X or other names that you think you want to use. But in the program, I want to demonstrate with fees 0, 0, fees 10. Okay, using array name of fees. Okay, so any question? No questions, Okay, I want to call back, What is the meaning of fees I0? Apa maksud dia? What is the meaning? What is the meaning? What is the meaning? Referring to this table. Apa maksud dia? Please respond. Please respond. Otherwise, we finish the class a bit late because I couldn't see your response. What is the meaning of fees I0? What is the detailed meaning? Okay. It is array. I'm not asking it's array. You should know it is two-dimensional array. I'm asking about the meaning of this two-dimensional array. Okay, what's the meaning? Fees I0. It refers to what? It's from the table. Okay, it's from the table. So means what? What is the meaning? The answer is here, actually. I just want to see whether you understand or not. Okay, it's not that answer, Quasi. I'm asking the exact meaning from this table. Fees I0. It is from the table in the Excel, actually. Okay, which data? Okay, so I give you tips. Which data? In terms of column, which one? Okay, no response. No response. Why no response? Yeah, credit hour. Okay, credit hour. Okay, for 50 students because your I is not fixed, kan? This I is general. So, credit hour for all students lah. Alright. Okay, now, how about fees I1? Okay, response. Fees I1. Okay, so it is book cost, book cost. All students. Why all students? Because your I is not fixed. Okay. For I2, your total fees. Right? Fees I3 is your number of payment. Whether the students need to pay 3 times or 5 times. Okay. Alright. This is generally right. Now I have want to ask you. Okay, where is it? Fees, let's say here. Where is the meaning of this one? Fees, let's say it is fees 32. What is the meaning? Fees 32. Fees, the fees I3, column 2. What is the meaning? Provide a response, please. Provide a response. Third student, book course. Okay, bukan book course. Syah Iskandar. Try lagi sekali. Because this column dia tu. Column dia kat sini tu. Okay, Madina said total fees. Okay, total fees okay, but not the accurate answer. Because sini I3. Okay, your I3. So this one refer kat mana? I3. So I3. So student number what? Total fees is correct, but which student? Try again, Madina. Okay. Total fees of student student 3. Okay. Total fees Total fees ni your data. So your data is this one column. Okay. Row U is student. So which one? Student 3. So this is student 3 Student 3 total fees. So this one actually. Okay. So saya tukar colour. So this one is the red one lah. Okay. So let's say you nak retrieve this red color. Let's say you want to retrieve this red color in this table. Dalam table this one, you want to retrieve the elements in this red color. So you have to retrieve based on this array. Alright? Okay This red color lah. So this is fees 32. 32 means that it is the fourth student. Okay, but is in the third column. Okay, but this one C32 ni is different one based on the index value, right? Okay, are you clear about this? Can you understand? Okay you need to understand this concept baru you can proceed to the coding Alright. Okay, so next one. Okay, so since you have clear about that, now we want to design the loop we want to design the loop. Okay, so remember your loop consists of nested for loop nested for loop. So the outer loop is for your number of rows. Your number of rows is your rows is number of students number of students, right? Okay, this is your outer loop. Then you have inner loop. This is your basic of nested loop. Alright. Okay, so your inner loop is about your type of data. Okay, your type of data. Okay, so your loop is actually controlled by your inner loop. This is nested loop, right? Okay, this is your inner this is in outer loop. This is outer. Okay, your outer loop is your number of students that represent your rows in the table. Your types of data, this is your inner loop. Okay, this is the design lah, right? Okay, so you need to take notes. Your loop, this nested loop is actually controlled by inner one. Okay, so your important informations, let's say you want to display the credit hour, book cost, total fees, number of payments, is controlled by your inner loop. Your inner loop is the column 1. So this is column, right? Okay. Okay, so your column actually control this loop, control your nested loop. Okay, so you need to take notes lah. Alright. Okay, so we have let's see. Okay, let's say this is the design for your loop. So we have for loop, then you have another loop. Okay, so we set your initializations. So let's start with the index. Always start with your, follow your index value. Control plus. Okay, right. This one is 0 because I use different form. So then the conditions for these rows, which is your number of students. So we have student 1, I0 until 50, right? This is condition. So you have I until 49. That's why we use this less than 50, or you can use, let's say, equal 49. So it's up to you lah, which one you want to choose. Okay, I want to choose 50. Okay, then I have I plus plus. Alright. Okay, so then we have this outer loop structure. Alright. Alright. Okay, next we have inner loop. Inner loop is J. Let's say we use J. Okay. For the number of columns. So just now we find out, you have 4 columns. Since your index for this column start from 0, so you have 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so until 3, so you can use less than 4. J less than 4. So then you have J plus plus. Okay, so this is your inner loop. Right, so you have these brackets. Okay, so this is your basic. Okay, now since that just now I mentioned your loop is controlled by inner loop, so you need to provide detail in the inner loop. For example, I just put the task or for the statements. Okay, for the case, let's say, okay, for the case your J equal 0. 0 means your first column. What is the data about this? What is the data? So we refer to the table, alright? This one, J0. This is your J0, alright? Your data is about credit hour. This one, J0, credit hour. Okay, so in this, for case J equal to 0, this structure actually, okay, need to read input from the user. The input is for credit hours. Okay, this is one, credit hours. Alright. Okay, now you have another one. For next J, your next J is J1. Okay, so you have else if J equal to 1. Alright. Okay, so this one refer to the table. This is your J equal to 1. Alright. And so this will be process your book cost. Right? Book cost. Okay, so this is to read inputs for book cost. Alright. So then, alright. So next one, next column is about j equal to 2. Alright. Then you have 0, 1, 2. Sorry, this one typo. Alright, J2. From the table, this is J2. This is about total fees. Alright. Okay, so this structure actually to calculate total fees. Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay, so next one, you can continue for J3 or you can just put else, because if else, it will be going to the next J. Alright. Okay. So let's say if you want to use else if, so you need to state it is J3. Right? Otherwise, you can just use else. So the following column is actually to determine number of payment. 3 payments or not. Okay. So this is your basic structure actually. This is your basic structure. So you can use I just put here, you can use else if, let's say j equal to 3, this case. Right? Okay, so because this is j equal to 3. Okay, this is number of payments. Right. Okay. Right. So see, this is basic. So for J0, this structure, you must have instructions. Ask the user. Okay, ask user to enter inputs. Then the program will read the input of credit hours. Alright. Okay, so this one, the structure first will ask the user for the input of book cost. Then the program will read the input of book cost. Alright. So for this one, j equal to 3, structure is to calculate total fees. So you need to provide the formula of total fees. Alright. Okay. Okay. So remember, so this is your outer loop. Okay. Your outer loop is about the students. Who is, okay, which is your student, number of student. Inner loop is about what is your data, type of data from the table. Okay. Okay, so basically, the coding that you have in this phase 3 is incomplete. So you need to complete that part. Okay, except that in these explanations, all right, in my explanations here, this is generally. So what you have here, this is my explanation in terms of the loop. Okay, what you have in this phase 3, okay, you need to sort that. Okay, you need to sort, because I believe that the one that you download just now is incomplete program for this question number 4. All right. Okay, so you have to complete that parts lah. All right. Okay, so I'll give you the items that you need to proceed. Okay, this one. Okay, I'll post that in the chat so you may refer back. Okay, so I believe that you don't have this J0 and so on. Okay, but you have these things, right? You have these things in your download file, right? So you need to add. You need to add, You need to add that. Just complete the codings, alright? J0 for what types of data and so on. And this is also given, but you don't have this the label for the index for your column, right? Okay. Now for your formula, okay, for your formula, because in J equal to j equal to 2, actually j equal to 2 is the structure, okay, for the program to calculate the total fees. Okay, the variable name as in array is fees. So remember, this is array fees, right? So this will be the formula in array. Okay, so credit fee is constant. You can replace this with numbers if you do not want to use constant. Same goes for athletic fee. So this is formula, the one given in the program requirement. That formula you need to convert for the array one. Okay, for the variable that consisting of array, so you need to apply the array concept. Alright, and so on lah. Alright, so this structure is to check the conditions of the fees, whether it will be going to case of 3 payments or not. Okay, so for that, the fee is counted as 3 payments, so the group need to count. Okay, count that the student that has 3 payments, count number of students actually. Alright, so we create the formula here. Same goes for the case that the student will be paid for 5 times, so you need to count that the students in that group. Alright, okay, and last one, you have to display students, credit hours, book cost, total fees with the payments in the loop. So we use here for loop because the program has read the informations and compute. So to display back will be based on for loop structure. Alright, then the last one without loop is just to display the final value for the number of students with 3 payments and also with 5 payments. Okay, so then once you finish the program, you have to run the output, provide the screenshot here, and this is the sample of output that you can create. Okay, try with 3 times. Right, okay, I think I have to stop now. Right, okay, let me stop the recording.